Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing. Today I'm coming to you with my Sunday's Art of Truth. I didn't think I was going to be able to get a video and a blog out there because I had some computer issues this morning, and I didn't do this until it's like right before. I have to be inspired to do a Sunday's Art of Truth. I can't just create and just wing it. I have the idea of Sunday Art of Truth is for me to do a piece of art and share the inspiration behind that. So I have to be inspired to do that. So again, I wasn't going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and give it a try here. I'm going to be working on an 8x8 wood panel, and I'm going to be using this beautiful image from a napkin. I did take the napkin and I scanned it into my printer, and then I printed it on rice paper. So I was actually quite surprised that it went through my printer without any issues. So I'm going to be using this image. And as I was kind of thinking about what I wanted to do in the space that I'm in currently and just life that's happening, which is usually what inspires me, is the struggles of life, the celebrations of life, and all of those things. So as I mentioned in another video, a good friend she's now a friend. She used to be my counselor for about 17 years. She was recently diagnosed with a brain tumor, and she did have her surgery, came through. They were not able to get as much of the tumor removed, very little of the tumor actually they were able to remove. So obviously, that it creates this place of really pondering life, pondering values, pondering processing emotions, all of those things, taking care of ourselves, seasons of life. That was the kind of the theme that I was thinking about here as I was thinking about her and thinking about anytime we lose someone or they change, which, disease and cancer does alter people's lives. It causes us to have to make adjustments in our hearts and in our spirit to move to a new place so that we don't stay stuck in the tragedy of those things and the kind of sometimes the debilitating nature of those events. They're really, really hard. And so I was going through my stash and I found this little metal piece. This is from Tim Holtz, and it says, "Encourage your hopes, not your fears." And so I'm going to be using this on the piece for that reason, because I saw this and it really spoke to me as I was thinking about how I wanted to decorate the piece and what I wanted to really say. And this just was so perfect because we can feed our fears, and it can immobilize us to kind of sink into depression, sink into, what's the point of life, which I do that. I get to that place. And so this really reminded me that I need to feed my hope. I need to be able to turn things, I need to be able to take things in my hands and figuratively in my heart and turn them around. Look at them in a way that is going to promote hope rather than defeat and rather than my fears. So that's what I'm going to be creating today. So I hope that you'll enjoy it. So I have this twine. It's kind of a bluish twine that kind of matches this color here of this blue. This is going to be a very simple piece. I'm going to use this twine to actually attach this around the edge of the canvas or the board here. So that's going to be super fun. So I've got my Liquitex flexible modeling paste I'm going to be using to do a little bit of stenciling. This is the stencil that I chose just because it leaves a really nice, bold impressions for texture. So I'm going to be using my Liquitex fluid matte medium in my really yucky container here to adhere my rice paper. The more matte medium you use, the better this goes in terms of it kind of disappearing into the background of the piece. So I'm debating on whether I want to tear around this or if I just want to put it on as it is. I'm thinking I want to just I don't know what I want to do. I didn't really think about that. I think maybe I'll come up here into the corner like that, and then I'll do some stuff down here. Maybe I'll cut the canvas. That's what I'll do. I think I'll paint the bottom of this canvas this panel a color and have this be a split, which means I need to trim this up a little bit. So let me do that really quick before we get going here. I hope that you guys are doing well, and I know I've been kind of going a different direction with my art in terms of the journal making and junk journaling stuff, but I hope that you'll enjoy this. And I know that junk journaling and journal making is not everybody's cup of tea, but it's definitely where I'm at right now. But I still adore my mixed media life. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to mark this too so that I can cut a straighter line here. Yeah, let me grab my pencil if I can find it and my ruler, and I'm just gonna trim this off here. I'm just gonna cut a line or draw a line so I actually can cut it straight. I'm gonna cut it just to the, hopefully I can erase that a little bit. Not a really big deal. I'm just gonna go just slightly to the right of that line. If you can see that, guys. And I'm going to just delicately see if I can erase this bit without messing it up. Oh yeah, that's going to be fine. Just going to be gentle here. Again, this is rice paper. I bought it in a pad and I absolutely adore it. And now I'm going to really use it because I didn't realize it would go so easily through my printer. So usually if you're using tissue paper and things like that, you have to tape whatever it is that you're trying to, or tape, excuse me, let me start over. You have to tape the tissue paper to a piece of copy paper to run it through your printer to actually transfer an image onto it. So let me think about what I want to do with this bottom section. I think I want to do it with some, maybe some, let me just look here really quick. You know what, guys, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and, oh, you know what, raw sienna would be a nice color in there. I was going to stop the video and just take a moment to figure this out, but I think I'm going to go ahead and use the raw umber, raw sienna, excuse me. This is Liquitex Heavy Body. And I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to pencil a line here. I'm going to put this back on here so that I can, let me move the camera. I feel like I'm going to bump it. I'm going to go ahead and try to make a line here. Well, I am going to make a line so that I can divide this wood panel. So got that line pretty darn straight. So I'm just going to make a pencil line here. And there we go. So let's go ahead and paint that. I didn't get it all the way across, but let's see. There we go. So let's go ahead and get that painted on. I'm not going to go over the edges. I'm just going to keep this all on the top, and then I'll just paint the edges some color when I get done. I usually don't do that on camera. And as all of my art pieces, my mixed media pieces have been of late, I will be giving this one away. So if you like it, if it speaks to you, I'd love to gift it to you. All you have to do is go ahead and leave a comment under the video or over on my blog. I encourage you to go over to the blog because that's where I put my supply list, as well as a lot of close-up photos. I take a lot of pictures of my projects, so that's where you can get a really good look at some of the close-up, which shows all the texture and beauty that is often a part of this process. So I got way too much paint there as usual. I'm going to go ahead and just wipe that up. Kind of a yucky color. but that's okay. So I think what I'm going to do also, just bear with me a moment. I'm going to get a little bit of raw umber too, just to give it a little bit more kind of variation here. So I'm going to grab my paper towel here and just use the same brush that I have. And I'm just going to get some water in that and just put it over here kind of rough. Okay, so this is dry, and I realized that since I changed the layout here, that my paper that I had cut 8 by 8 to cover, kind of do a background, was too big. So I went ahead and trimmed it off. I'm going to try to remember to put all the words to this paper in over on my blog, because I don't want to do a screenshot because I don't have the rights to this. It's from SeanPetite.com collage packs, or it was free in her library. I can't quite remember, but the reason, and I've talked about it a lot, I use it a lot because it's so meaningful. So I'll just give you a snippet of what it says here on the top. She was taking control of her life and decided to own her journey, her decisions. She wanted to seek adventure that opened her heart and mind. She looked for the good around her, and she did the work to make her life what she wanted. She decided to do what makes her happy. She will be kind to herself, take care of her soul, and make sure to be careful who she lets into her inner circle. She will not let anything stop her for going after her goals. She has realized that happiness is not something you travel to, or that you earn. And that's the end of that. But I'll try to remember to type that out in the over on the blog. So I'll try to do that. So, or I'll just give you the link to, maybe I'll do that. I'll give you the link to SeanPetite.com and to her her shop over there, and you can check it out. That would probably be a better choice. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this on, and I'm going to use my matte Liquitex matte medium. So I'm just going to get that out over here. And whoops, it's all stuck. I've got a big brush. I'm going to use plenty of matte medium. I'm going to put it on the paper as well as on the surface of the board. So again, this is Liquitex Fluid Matte Medium. So I'm just going to try to get over this a little bit. So pardon my body in the shot here, just trying to get that as even as I can get it. There we go. Looks like we got a little bit of an overhang, but we can take care of that later. So I'm just giving this a good press with my hand just to get rid of immediately any bubbles that are underneath that. I just thought this would be really cool to put kind of in the background of this. I didn't get enough matte medium here, did I? Wow. There we go. I'm just going to go over the top here real quick. And I'll just put more. It doesn't look like I got enough, which I haven't done this for a while. I do more paper crafting now than I do mixed media, so it can make it tricky to do this again and remember all the little tips, processes. So there we go. It's going to be gorgeous. So by the way, my friend is doing fine. She's as fine as she can be. She's 82 years old. So to undergo that kind of a surgery at her age is amazing to me. But God is in control. He is in control of her life and her future, so as well as mine. And I have to believe that. I know that's not everybody's belief system, but that's okay too. We all have our own I'm just putting some matte medium over here too, because I ran that medium under over the line. So I've got some stuff in it though I'm not liking, but it's going to be covered up because I'm going to do some stuff on there. Not exactly sure what. So I'm just going to get that out of the way. I'm going to get my wipes here so that I can wipe this matte medium up. I think I'm going to wipe this because we really don't need it on there. I just kind of got carried away. There we go. I realize it's browner on this side, and that's because I cut it off of this side when I had to make it a slightly narrower too, so that's why that is. Or I guess I did cut it off of this side. I wonder why that's darker, because I did cut it off of this side. We've got a little bit of an overhang there, but I'll deal with that later. Not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and pause real quick and zap this with the heat tool, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is nice and dry, or dry enough rather. So I think I'm going to try to trim that off while I'm here. Just trying to get a way to get a hold of it here. Let me see if I can do it with my fingers, or I mean with my fingers, oh my goodness, with my scissors here. Yeah, that's working. Shouldn't be using my regular scissors though. I should be getting my sticky scissors. But that's okay. I'm just gonna tear that off and keep going. It gets tricky when you get up past the distance that the scissors can go. I guess I could turn it the other direction, but I think we're doing okay. Just getting that off. Whoops, I hit the camera. Oh, that's just paint. We'll take care of that. We'll paint over that. There we go. Okay. Taken care of. So we're going to go ahead and glue on this rice paper. And again, it's going to go right here. And because it's rice paper, we're going to be able to, oh, that was a strange sound. We're going to be able to see some of those words through it. So again, the key is with rice paper, tissue paper, any of those things, to put a lot of the fluid matte medium on the surface, because that's going to help it really sink in and connect with the substrate, which in this case is the wood, and really kind of disappear and become very transparent. So in case you haven't worked with that, that's kind of how that works. I would really, really strongly suggest, if you want an expert on this, head over to SeanPetite.com. She currently has an insider group, which I'm a part of, but I have not participated very much. My focus is somewhere else. I don't want to let go of the membership though, because I do intend to go back and catch up. So I'm just going to stay with it. So yeah, there we go. So now we're going to go ahead and place this on here. And I'm going to try to get up in this space here, the camera space here, and see if I can just get that situated on there. And then we're going to go back over it really gently with the matte medium. And we might get wrinkles, but that's okay. We're a little bit off on that side, and it looks like we're off here too. So we can do some adjusting with our paints, or maybe we'll come in, bring some, oh, that's really bad. Bring some lace or something into the design. I haven't used the rice paper in the printer, as I mentioned, but also I haven't done it this big before. So usually I'm just doing it at, doing a quote or something. So I'm just going to use my finger gently and try to smooth out some of those wrinkles. I don't mind the wrinkles, but I don't want a lot of them. If I can control it, I want to get rid of them. I'm not too concerned about that edge that's not quite covered, because I'll come around with my soft pastel at the end and edge the whole thing. So this is gorgeous. I think we'll get some lace and add to this with some lace. I'm going to add a little bit more, hoping that I can get that to really be wet so that it can go away. But you can see some of the words. I'll hold this up for you in just a second so you can see. Rice paper is more forgiving than tissue paper, so I can get away with doing this with my finger. You can't really do this with tissue paper though. So I'm just going to rub back and forth and hope that I don't do something that's going to mess this up. There we go. We've got a little bit of ink transfer here. I can see on my fingers because of my printer. So I'm just going to go over this again with my brush just to smooth it out. And I think this is good. So I'm going to pause again, guys, and go ahead and dry this. And then I'll be coming back to you when it's dry. Okay, so this is pretty well dry. Off camera, I did realize I wanted to do something to cover up that line. So I went ahead and got a piece of washi tape that has all the colors in it. So it has the blue, it has the orange from the bird, which I really love. So I'm debating on what I'm going to use, what I'm going to do with the attaching this word. I don't know if I'm still going to do that with the twine. I might do that right there. We'll see. I also pulled a butterfly out, but I'm not sure entirely that I want to use that. So I just got it out just in case. So we'll see. So what I want to do now is go ahead and do a little bit of something. So, and this is a little bit hanging over, but I'll take my sand block and sand that off of the edge there. I don't want to mess with it right now. So I'm just thinking about what I'd like to do here. If I want to change up the stencil, because I kind of changed my idea. So let me see what I've got here. And oh, I kind of want something earthy, a little bit earthy. Let me grab the stencils one more time. And I wish I could get your opinion on it, but that's a little bit difficult to do when we're on the video. So let's see what we would like. I almost don't want to do it because it's so beautiful. So you know what? I'm not going to stencil. I'm going to keep this simple. And instead of stenciling, I'm going to come in with my crackle paint and put some crackle paint here and there around the edges and around, down on this part to create some crackle effect, which is always something that I adore. So this is from Deco Art. It's called Deco Art Crackle Paint. We used to be able to get it on Amazon, no longer can. I'm not sure why that is, but the last time I tried, I could not get it. So I'm going to get a really long, well, yeah, I'm going to get my long palette knife and I'm just going to scrape it on with that. And I'm going to kind of go thick. We're going to have to do some kind of a wash over this though, because now it's going to be, because this is not translucent. But that's okay. We're just playing, guys. Just kind of do whatever you like. It's just having fun as the object. Practicing technique, letting go of control, etc. So I'm not trying to get it everywhere. I'm leaving little spots of that. It's a little tricky with this long knife. I do want to get some up there so that doesn't look so strange. Just having trouble getting it on the right plate, the right part of the knife here. So we'll see what that's going to look like. And then I just kind of go back over it just to kind of make the texture inconsistent. Got a lot here and not so much over here though. So, and I like to kind of build it up around these edges because it adds just a really cool effect. Probably didn't even need to paint that part, but often with mixed media you don't know, at least I don't know, what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it until I do it, because it's very intuitive. So I do want to get most of the line there captured because it's a dividing line for the piece. And I'm having trouble. There we go. That's all right. Got a lot on there though. I'll try to scrape a little bit. So this has to, I like to have this dry naturally, so I'm gonna pause the camera and come back when it's nice and sufficiently crackled. So I will be back, guys. Okay, so this is dry, as well as I did decide it, as I was looking at this more, I decided I didn't like that washi tape. It just looked out of place. And so I did pull a little bit of ribbon from my stash, and I think I'm just going to put that over that area, or another piece. I'm not sure yet, but I just don't like, it just looked, it's a paper craft item, so I really struggled with just the look of it. So I made a decision to just move on. So this is the up close of the texture. And if I haven't mentioned it before, I am an impatient crafter. So I did use my heat tool. It doesn't like to focus on white, so that's why my finger's in there, my messy finger. So we've got some good cracks. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and do, use a little bit of raw umber and colorize this. So I'm going to use my raw umber fluid acrylic and my, excuse me, I need to reach behind me to get my glazing medium. And I'm going to use my golden glazing medium as well. And I'm just going to mix it with the fluid acrylic, like so. And then let me get a brush here, and I'm just going to mix that up like so. And we're just going to go over all this. We might go over it more than once just to kind of give it the look that I'm looking for, which I won't know until I see it, basically. And I apologize, I do have to turn this, so I know that can make it tricky for your eyes, but it's a must. So I'm just going to go along that line. And again, you know, this isn't a tutorial. This is just me sharing. So I hope you don't mind. So I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to come in with my baby wipe. So as you can see, it will color that texture a little bit. It's not really getting in there very well though. Let's try that again. Sometimes it takes multiple layers. So I'm gonna just do that process again. And this time I think I'm just gonna pounce with my paper towel, hopefully to leave a little bit more of that in those cracks. I love the crackle. It's one of my favorite mixed media mediums. So let's try that again. Yeah, more like that. I can come back in and put it in just the places that I want. I'm loving what that looks like on that edge. I'll capitalize on that. That's much better. Kind of looks like dirty snow though. I'm not sure I'm real fond of that. I might come in with some green too into this into the bottom section here, some of the sap green. This pouncing is taking away from the look of the crackle. So let's try again. It's okay. Whoops, I just got a bunch of stuff on my twine. That could be, oh my goodness. There we go. It was, the plastic was still on it, so we're good. Okay, let's try this again. I'm just gonna get my sap green hue. This is Golden Artist acrylic. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of that up there, and I'm just gonna do a layer of that as well. I love this color. It's one of my favorites. So let's just do that and see what we get. Add a little bit of water. This will cover better, I think, because I'm not doing a glaze either. So, but don't you love that we can change our minds as we're creating? And that's why I'm not calling these tutorials, because I'm just crafting and I'm just doing it on camera. So that if it's something that you enjoy and suits you, then that's awesome. If it's not, then that's cool too. And you can move on. So just gonna do that, and then hoping that I can come in now with some of that raw umber. Need another paper towel here. Just playing. Be kind of a mysterious thing, so I'm just gonna, well, that's not gonna really hold there. That's not doing much. Okay. I like that too, though. I'm just pouncing my paper towel. Oh, I can see cracks now. That's what we want to do. I want to retain those cracks. And then when this is dry, I can go in yet again with the raw umber glaze and do another layer of the crackle to get in there. That actually I'm quite happy with that. I think I'm going to leave that and not mess around with it too much. So let me just get my brushes and my mess out of the way here. I think I'm going to leave that, actually. Just try not to get my stuff in it. So let's go ahead and dry this again. Okay, I think we're good to go ahead and do another layer of the glaze. So I'm just going to get my brush out here again. And this time I'm just going to do the raw umber glaze with the remainder of this paint I have here. Just to get a little bit more in those cracks is the hope. What I love about this product is, even though I dried it with my heat tool, it continues to crack even after I've messed with it. So that's really, really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and get my paper towel, and I'm going to just dab. I love that. I think we're good with that. I'm going to leave that alone. So unfortunately, we do need to dry again before we can go on to the next step, which is going to be to decide what we want to use to divide the canvas here, or the wood panel, and then attach our little bits of ephemera. So I'll be right back. Okay, this is dry. I'm just going to lift it up so you can see. Look at that incredible texture. This is why I love mixed media. Oh my gosh, I adore it. So I did decide I'm going to go ahead and use this lace to go just to the edge here. But that's what I'm going to do. And then the sentiment, I was thinking it would be still fun to use that little bit of that blue. Let me grab my ribbon basket and let me look and see if there's a better color. This is my ribbon, and my twine is in this basket here. So I'm just going to set it here for a second and see. Now that we're a little bit further along here, we might find something that, and I've got, oh man, got paint on my desk. I got to be careful. Oh, the yellow would be pretty too. Ooh, I think I'm going to go with the yellow. Yellow is my favorite color, so that's not a hard decision. So I think we're going to switch it out and do the yellow. So I'm going to just open this up and get it strung on this metal piece. Whoops. There we go. Awesome. That's going to be perfect. So I'm just going to cut it a little bit long here. And I will trim it up on the edges when we get to that point, but it's a lot thinner than I thought it was going to be. It's really strong though, so I think it's going to be fine. So I got my matte gel out, the heavy gel. This is gloss, but it's not going to matter because I'm already going to be sealing this piece with some varnish, so it's okay. So So let me just get a brush that I can apply this. This is the best when, well, you know what, actually I can use, I always forget that now that I'm doing more paper crafting, I actually can use my Fabri-Tac, which attaches fabric, lace, and things like that really, really well. So I think I'm going to use this instead of my matte gel. So I'm leaving that green in case I want to do anything else with it. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a bead of this glue. I'm going to go, let me just put that in my thing. I've got this sitting in a little recycled bottle there. So I'm deciding whether or not I want that to go, I think we'll go right on that line. But because I do want to do some shading overall, I'm going to get my pastel, my soft pastel out and put a little bit here because I'm not going to be able to get to that when this is done. So I'm just going to pencil that on really quick just to kind of highlight that edge and then just give it a rub like so. Yeah. Perfect. Maybe a little bit more. It's a great look. I love that. Okay. So I'm also not used to getting so messy these days. You don't get as messy with paper crafting, but I do forget how much I love it though. Okay, so now Fabri-Tac. So we're just gonna go right to this line. I'm just gonna put a bead all across that line. And I do, again, apologize for the angle, but I apply this stuff just like I write, kind of at a slant. So I'm just going down a little bit so I have plenty of glue on there. And then we're just going to put this on here. I'm going to try to minimize how much I waste here, so I'm going to kind of go to this end and I'm just going to line that up to that blackish line that I created with the soft pastel. And then I'm going to grab a paper towel and I'm going to just pat just to kind of get that to stick. You can, once I do this, I can still adjust it, so I'm just going to pat just to get that to kind of set. It just helps to not get my fingers all sticky with the Fabri-Tac. So now we're going to look at it and see if it looks straight, which it looks like it can come up on that side a little bit. On that side a little bit. You do get a little bit of wiggle room with the Fabri-Tac, so that looks to be good. So awesome. So I'm not gonna trim that off completely yet until that has a little bit of time to dry. I'm just gonna hold this up and make sure it looks straight. It looks like this end could still go up a little bit. Perfect. So now let's go ahead and string this on our little thing, our sentiment. Encourage your hopes, not your fears. Such an important lesson, isn't it? So, oh, that's not going to work. Oh, goodness, Renee. Okay, so we have to rethink this. So this has to go, gosh darn it. I'll try that again. It has to do this because, I wonder if we should just glue it on the back. I've never done this before, so I apologize. This is a little bit, oh, there we go. No, I was just feeding it in the wrong side. Ooh. Oh, goodness. So glad we get to laugh at ourselves, right? We're just going to attach that here, like so. Yep, I like that. So making sure it's kind of in the middle there as best I can. And I'm thinking that I might, it's going to be hard to attach that. So we're going to have to put some more Fabri-Tac across this, this middle where that whole piece is going to go, a little bit more here in the center to hold the bulk of that metal, and then just off to the side because we need that. We need the twine to also adhere. So Again, I'm going to line up and try to get this in the middle as best I can. If it's not perfect, I'm not going to sweat it. And I'm just going to lay that twine down, and then I'm going to give it a push again with my paper towel. And this will all get sealed too, which will help all that to stay in place as we want it to. I hope that's making sense. So we're just about done. I hope that you guys will hop on over to the blog and check out the writing, the inspiration for this piece. And again, if you like the piece and it spoke to you, I would love to hear what your thoughts are about it. And then you can go ahead and leave those in the comments, and I will draw someone if I have more than one person that wants it. And then if I just have one person, then I just give it to that person. So no sweat there. And but anyway, that is it. I will do this off camera. I'm just going to cut those edges off, and then let me show you a close-up. I think it's really beautiful. I'm happy with it. As usual, often the end product doesn't look exactly like I had intended, and I kind of take a different turn, which is just fine. That's part of the creative process. And because I'm not claiming to be teaching you anything, I feel pretty good about that. So I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.